When you think of one of the busiest streets in Nigeria, where commercial activities take place day and night, Broad Street on Lagos Island readily comes to mind. The street is home to many financial institutions and corporate businesses. One thriving business gaining greater relevance by the day is point of sale service, popularly known as POS business.
POS, withdraw your money here, POS.
POS operators have brought banks to every corners and streets in Nigeria. Instead of visiting the bank, people now go to these POS terminals to perform transactions.
Although the invention of the POS system dates back to the 1800s, the Central Bank of Nigeria officially introduced it in 2012 after the CBN implemented the agent banking system to drive home its cashless policy aimed at enhancing Nigerians' payment system. At that time, many people were skeptical about how profitable it could be. Today, it has a vast and diverse clientele, which includes everybody who has a bank account and wants to do a transaction. To POS operators, it is a veritable source of income, an alternative source of income, and to other business owners, an alternative transaction tool. POS businesses have become very popular among the middle and lower class sections of the economy and even students. Some have argued that the upsurge in POS transactions in the country followed weeks of scarcity of old and new naira notes earlier this year, forcing many Nigerians to patronize POS operators in their neighborhoods. Others like Dr. Bamidele Wale Oshinowo, Senior Lecturer, Department of Business Administration, University of Lagos, believes it initially gained acceptance with a wide spectrum of users during the pandemic and has continued to flourish.
It wasn't as if they became so popular by charging sporadic charge. Don't forget that they also were getting the money from somewhere and they had to pay cost of funds to get the money. They became more popular from what I've seen during the COVID period, especially in the informal sector. I'm bringing attention to the informal sector because that is where a lot of cash activities takes place.
The Nigerian Interbank Settlement System PLC statistics shows that POS transaction increased to 807.16 billion naira in January 2023, representing a 40.7% surge when compared to 573.7 billion naira as at January 2022. Electronic payment data from the Nigerian Interbank Settlement System also showed that the overall electronic payment transactions in the country surged by 45.5% to 38.77 trillion naira in January 2023, as against 26.65 trillion naira recorded in January 2022. The Central Bank of Nigeria continues to exercise some level of control as a regulator. On the 9th of March 2023, it barred agents from using point-of-sale terminals meant for merchants to carry out cash-in and cash-out transactions.
Welcome. Yeah, please take your seat.
Bola Honolajide is a policy and public affairs analyst. He weighed in on the increasing relevance of POS business in an underbanked country like Nigeria.
You see, bank branches, the physical branches, or electronic branches, including the ATM, especially ATM, cannot be everywhere. Because they cannot be everywhere, but our people are everywhere. We need to be able to serve them wherever they are. We need to be able to take financial services to them where they are. So POS operators serve that purpose. I use POS from time to time, POS operators. I use them from time to time. In Lagos, if you go into Tejo Show Market, in some parts of the building, Tejo Show Market, you'll be shocked that you can't do transfer on your phone, but the POSs are working. In some parts of Lagos, you can't see an ATM. People have not adopted other means. So the only way you're left with to obtain cash, or sometimes to even deposit, is these POS people. And some of them are doing some unbelievable volumes. There are POS operators in Lagos that are guzzling down 2 million naira in cash. It has become, for those ones, they are no longer doing petty transactions. They've become a mini bank in their neighborhood. So they are getting the job done. That financial inclusion part of thing, they are performing that role. So rather than thinking we should be thinking of expanding it, making it more available.
I hardly move around with cash. So definitely I depend a lot on my debit card, on maybe having a POS around for me to use. I see that a lot of people are embracing it. We can have an economy that is completely cashless. Nigeria being mostly an informal driven economy, and this is to say that a large percentage of transactions are done in the informal sector. So a lot of them are embracing it. So it's easier for people to actually go on without cash. You can be sure that you will be sorted out.
Ismaila Idowu has been in the POS business for 3 years and has about 4 other branches in different locations. He was in a business of selling men's clothes before veering into POS business.
The business is sweet, but it's very tedious, you understand, in such a way, in many ways. For financially, the business is like, if you don't have cash, you understand, you cannot be able to operate the business much more like you like. You understand what I mean? Some customers will come, they will say, I want to pay school fees of my children, I want to pay house rent, I want to do this, I want to do that. I think you can see all these things. It's for clothes, it's for packing shirts. I'm selling packing shirts, trouser, jean. You understand? I'm still into it, but my wife is in that charge. My wife is handling that one. You understand? But me, I just voluntarily, I say, okay, let me just leave that one aside. Let me focus on this POS.
While speaking on some of the challenges that come with the business, he shared his ordeal at being defrauded despite his experience in the business. He advised those who want to venture into the business on how to navigate the challenges.
Some people are giving me, many challenges. Just like, let me start from all those Yahoo people. They will come that they want to withdraw. They will say, okay, they want to do transfer. Okay, do it. When they do it, you might see a lot self. Sometimes you might see a lot. Definitely that alert that you see, it is not, don't rely on that alert, because that alert might be fake alert. That is what happened to me some days ago. Somebody that came that said he wanted to do 500,000. He said he wanted to he want to transfer the money to me. I said, okay, no problem, do it. He later said, no, it's 300. I said, okay, do it now. He later say, that 300, I think the money is not up to that in my account. You understand? That is where I was supposed to, you understand, to dictate. But I did not. I was thinking maybe this fine man, he cannot do such. You understand? Let me just calm down. So at the end of the day, he did 200,000, and I saw the 200,000 with my phone, just alert, not in my app. You understand? So I gave him the money. When I gave him the money, when he went, I wanted to withdraw the money. I see he was saying insufficient balance. You understand? And so you have to be careful. If you are doing this business, you have to be careful in various ways. You understand? Don't trust anyone, even your brother, your sister, your relative. And business, no party in jungle. In business, don't say this is my girlfriend or this is my brother. Let me do the transaction for him. Don't worry, I don't pay the charges. No, it's not like that.
Some customers shared their diverse experiences on POS services as alternatives to ATM machines.
It's been long, getting to 6 months now that I use ATM last, because I normally do transfer on my phone. Because I don't like using ATM sometimes, because most of the time I lost my ATM.
I don't mind the charge because I'm needed. The disadvantage of POS is that there are a lot of scammers these days. So I'm scared to use anyhow POS. Let me tell you the truth.
As for Aria Kamaldin, she went into POS business in order to raise money to pay her WAEC examination fees.
Because I need money to do my WAEC. So that is why I started the business. Because I need money.
I supposed to do my work last year, but I don't have money to do it. But now, that is why I'm doing POS because of money. My mother is selling pure water, so and she don't have money, so I need to help them to do my own work. In a day, my gain is like 2-4. Sometimes if there is no business, 1,000, 1,005, 1,7. The business don't have any strength, just to sit down and answer the customers.
I also spoke to some students of the University of Lagos on their experiences patronizing POS agents.
Even inside school, when you get there, there's always queue, and people don't. It's not easy to get money in the ATM galleries inside Unilag, so it's just a lot. I just prefer to go to the POS, do what I want to do, and leave.
If you forget your PIN on the ATM, like you can get swallowed. Sometimes I've forgotten my card on the ATM, most times, like 4 times now, and that doesn't happen with the POS. So I prefer the POS than the ATM.
I prefer ATM because basically it's free, less charges. But because POS has to do with charges, if there's a way they can at least reduce it, I can still consider it. But for me, it's ATM.
In Enugu State, the story is no different. Samuel Apwoke started as a recharge card hawker, but had to delve into POS business as an alternative source of income.
At the time, a friend of mine told me that since something is not come out from that recharge card, I should attach it with POS. So a man went ahead and get a POS. So from there, I now started small, but now I'm acquire customers now. Normally before 1,000, 100,000 was 1,000, but now because of bank procedure, bank now say 500,000 limit for a week, so we now carry it to 2,000 for 100,000.
For somebody to make 3,500 a day in this economy, is a good one. You multiply it by 30 days. It's a good money. So I encourage other Nigerians to also venture into POS business.
You have a lot of fake POSs in the market. Where people where you put your card and they will pick your details, and before you know, you start getting debit alert and all those things. So they can have a more efficient machine, maybe from the government, that will be trusted.
In Delta State, one of the business owners we spoke to lamented over the hardship in the country, which she said affects their profit margins as POS agents. The role of POS agents in facilitating transactions around the country cannot be overemphasized. They are not bank employees, but outsourced agents that have transformed the Nigerian economy by providing services, especially where banking services are not available.
You see, because financial inclusion is a critical part of development, these people are providing financial inclusion. They are helping to drive financial inclusion. Therefore, they are helping development. So people who ordinarily might not have been able to access the financial services are able to do so. Part of what they're actually also supposed to be able to do is to help people with transfer. An extended version is to be able to even help people open an account, to be able to help people get access to card services. Most of that part have not been popular yet. Most of it have been cash for now. But financial inclusion, like I said, is a critical part of development. Giving people access to financial services is very important, and that is what those guys are doing right there. And their activities, because it is economic in nature, creates income for them. It creates convenience for the consumers of those services, and those consumers, because they now have access to cash, are able to procure. When they procure, they create multiplier effect in the economy and help to create economic activity. So it's a critical development tool, if I may say that.
It's a source of job creation for people that ordinarily would have been excluded from the formal sector. Okay, so Nigeria has a high number of employment rates, especially for people within the employable age range. So we have the youths, we have even the adults that are still employable in terms of age. So people that one way or the other have been left out of the job market, either due to age, due to qualification, due to experience, or the fact that there's just no job, So it is a source of creating jobs for a lot of employable people, and even people that ordinarily might not be employable, but they are trained in the basic knowledge of how to actually run the POS business. It's a good source of employment for them. And we know that it's not possible for the formal sector to absorb the number of employable people that are, the number of employable people that are in the job market. So finding an alternative source of job creation, it's a plus on the economy. And aside of that, we know that we have the people that are normally excluded for one reason or the other. So we have the women. It's easier for them to trade. It creates a platform for them to actually, so just little digital financial literacy, little knowledge of it, they will be able to work with it. It creates some kind of, bridges the gap in financial inclusion, because we've always been talking about financial inclusion, and it bridges that gap.
The big question is, how far is the CBN's cashless policy going, given the POS operators' high dependence on cash to do business?
I am not so sure it is helping cashless policy that much. The focus seems to have been on the cash transactions. So because of that, I don't think it dramatically have a positive effect in driving cashless policy. Rather, it democratizes financial services and take it further down to the last mile. That's what it does, essentially.
I wouldn't want to agree with that line of thought that it's still putting pressure on cash, because it's still the same thing. If you go into the bank, you want to deposit, you're taking cash to the bank. Whatever sales you've made, you want to deposit. So some of them, rather than traveling to the bank, the risk they face on walking from, they have a lot of POS operators around them. I want to deposit into my account, maybe pay 200 naira, whatever commission it is they want to pay on it, and they give the POS, and the POS operator will collect the money with the hope that, somebody's coming that would need to make a withdrawal.
We also got perspectives from northern Nigeria, especially Kaduna State, where more than 2 million people have no access to financial services and lack Western education. As a frequent POS service user, Ibrahim Umaru has not been to a bank in a year and does not mind the high charges from the service. But Israel Ajodeji would rather use the ATM.
POS services is okay at all. In fact, some of their charges are not much. So we enjoy them. Whenever you need, you don't need to stretch yourself to reach bank.
For ATM more than POS, because bank ATM they remove their charges.
But ATM, they just collect cash of charges, so collect charges on top.
One of the POS business owners who spoke to us laid emphasis on how good locations drive good returns on investment.
Location matters a lot. I think it has to do with all businesses. So it depends on the kind of location you have. Like where I am right now, the students patronize me a lot. So, and then it depends on the range of money they are willing to withdraw. There are some people that usually come to, I've had that experience before. They come in the name of wanting to perform transaction, but they are criminals. But then, because I have been given orientation beforehand, I've been able to deal with them. So it is very good for you as a businessman, as a businesswoman or man, for you to be very cautious of these people that come.
Kano State has had a run share of limited access to financial services where there is a big unbanked population, especially in the rural areas.
To ni farin ciki abin da yake ban farin ciki ni dai sana'ar da kaman dai taimako ne saboda mu kafin mutanen mu na karkara misali kafin mutum ya je samu banki sai ya tafiya kaman kilomita 16 to ni farin cikin da nake idan mutum ya zo gurina zai bukata 10,000 ko 3,000 na san dai duk abin da zan caje shi ya fi masa ya ce zai hau mota ko ya hau wani babur ya ce zai tafi Kano ya ciro kuɗi to ina jin daɗi mutum dai akalla yana buƙatar biyan buƙatarsa kuma ya zo ya samu biyan buƙata a cikin ƙanƙanin lokaci wannan shine abin da nake jin daɗi da shi.
To gaskiya POS ɗin da kuɗi yanzu ne kuma ba wani ba za su cira maka ba shi kuma ka zo gurin masu biyo dole ko ɗaya ake ɗan wani abu da za su ɗan cira kuma kaga tun da raka kasuwa ce su ɗan samu dole ko da an ɗan yaga dai ba za ka daɗi ba amma dai ka san kasuwanci ne.
A sosai kuwa don gaskiya sakamakon fitowar banki a zuwa munan yankin karkara muna jin daɗinsa sosai saboda mun yi amfanin noma muna sa kuɗi kuma muna cira insha Allah ba mu da matsalar komai.
In 2022, the House of Representatives considered a motion on the urgent need to regulate the point of sale business suppression in Nigeria. High charges is another angle some believe needs to be addressed.
The Central Regulatory Authority for Financial Services, which will be the CBN, cannot afford not to regulate that segment of the market because ultimately there is an effect on the financial services in general. If there's a loss of confidence in that segment, it will affect the financial inclusion that the CBN seeks to drive. Therefore, is a stakeholder. Then there must also be some sort of self-regulation in which the operators themselves self-regulate and fish out and push out the bad eggs from amongst them. So I expect that there is an association, I think there is even an association anyway, at various levels, which will do some level of self-regulation apart from the government regulatory agencies.
Not as per the regulations alone, but as per training them on the business risk with operating a POS, whereby they know, even if they have 50 people bearing down on their neck for, oh, I want to do this, they know what to watch out for, and they know how to protect themselves. You know, because they're offering banking services, but in an alternative way. So they have to be able to understand the risk involved in their business, which most of them do not understand. I think they need a lot of training because they're dealing with money, and money involves a lot of risk. So they need, I think a lot of attention needs to be paid by the regulatory bodies in organizing structured trainings for them.
They also highlighted the doubtless potential of the business and the need to encourage and keep the operators in business.
I think we should encourage them. We should regulate the environment. Don't let the scammers and the fleecers make a mess of it, and at the end of the day will be a critical developmental tool in the economy.
The growth of that sector is dependent a lot on how much the government is willing to play in terms of not participate, in terms of being involved in, like, you know how it is when government is involved. Yeah, we still need that area to be liberal in terms of allowing the private sector to play, because that's the only way it can grow.
The benefit of POS business are numerous, and there remains opportunities in that sector as the economy and financial activities continue to expand across Nigeria.